experienced firsthand what it means to lose yourself in a relationship? It's the kind of thing you hear about in romance novels and up on the silver screen all the time. And while it's a beautiful and poignant thing in your imagination, in real life it's quite a different story. Hi, thanks for checking in with MeetYourSweet.com. Today I need to share with you some basic truths about the necessity of being the leader in your relationships. Here's what I'm talking about. Most women, once they get into a relationship which they feel has, long-term potential, feel a real temptation to just lie back and let him take the reins. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of passivity that comes naturally, like when you don't really feel too strongly one way or the other about something, or you're okay to just go with the flow for a while. I'm talking about the kind of passivity that's characterized by the belief that it's somehow better to follow someone else's lead in the kind of decisions you make and the way you relate to your own life. Okay, let me paint you a quick picture here. This is how things usually go in this situation. Two people get into a relationship. At first things seem great, but as the relationship progresses, the woman instinctively begins to rely on her partner's decision-making abilities more and more. This isn't a conscious thing. She just gets this impulse to act this way, so she does. It starts off small but rapidly becomes a habit. And before long, she's checking in with him about everything from whether they should eat in or out that night to whether she should talk to her boss about a pay raise. It's like she's relying on him to help her run her life. And as time goes on, the guy in the relationship seems increasingly restless and unhappy. He starts acting distant and reserved at times. But if she asks what's wrong, he'll say, "I don't know," or "Don't worry about it." So of course the woman decides to try harder and starts checking up with him even more often about how the relationship's going, how he's feeling, but nothing seems to work. He starts picking out faults about her. He seems unhappy and aloof. Fights seem to spring just up out of nowhere, and sooner or later the relationship just comes to a grinding halt. This is a story that resonates with most women because we've all experienced that crisis of self-confidence that occurs when we hand the reins over to someone else. And it only gets worse the more indecisive we become. This kind of behavior screams incompetency and basically makes you look like a second-class citizen in your own relationship. When you start deferring to someone else too often and fail to have your own opinion, you turn into a doormat. And what happens next is that his attraction to you lessens along with his respect for you. Then this results in you becoming anxious and clingy and trying to fix things by being extra nice and extra differential, which of course only adds to the problem. It's a vicious cycle. The kinds of values that perpetuate this kind of insecure, unconfident behavior are generally the ones that teach women to turn the other cheek, love unconditionally, always ask other people's opinions, and to put other people before ourselves. Now, I don't want to go putting anybody's personal values down here, but it's got to be said that those values are not the kinds of values that will result in you actually getting respect from anybody. And if you live by them in your relationships, they will earn you disrespectful and hurtful treatment. When you don't value yourself over and above other people, yes, even the people you are closest to, it's just human nature to perceive this as weakness. And it's impossible to create and sustain quality relationships on a basis of inequality and the idea that one person is stronger or weaker than the other. You gotta face it, acting with a bit of self-interest is absolutely vital to making sure that you're taken care of and that your relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and admiration. It's pretty difficult to respect and admire someone when they're letting you walk all over them. And you can see how this kind of behavior invites disrespectful, even abusive behavior. Look, it's absolutely fine to let your guy know that you love him to bits and that you're 100% committed to him in the relationship. But the second you start handing over the reins to him, you're putting out the idea that he's somehow more worthy or more able than you are to run your life. And that's going to be the death of any attraction and the possibility of a dream relationship. You've got to learn how to be your own leader. And I'm not talking about running for presidency, trying to wear the pants at home, or trying to control other people. I'm talking about taking care of yourself and always being in control of your own opinions, your own decisions, and your own life. I'm talking about getting rid of the destructive and attraction-destroying habit of automatically turning to him and asking, "So what do you think?" The ability to consult with yourself first, to develop a little reverence for what other people think, and to just be self-referenced in the way that you live your life is going to ensure that you've got a healthy regard for yourself and prevent you from developing unhealthy relationships. When you start to get a handle on being your own leader, you're going to rocket your attraction up sky high, and you'll find yourself naturally attracting the kinds of people and relationships who are good news for you. If you'd like to know more about being an authentically strong, decisive, and irresistible woman, you should check out the website. And don't forget to look at some of the other great videos I've made to help you create a fun, fulfilling dating life. Thanks for checking in with MeetYourSweet.com.